as my co-caster once again. Insania, I'm excited.
I am too. This game is, SG versus BMG in a normal captain's mode game is just amazing to watch. But
Yeah.
w with interesting heroes like this, can this get any better? Banning draft, BMG versus SG, high level games with fun heroes. I think this is gonna be one of the best matches we'll have so far this year.
I'm looking forward to some entertainment. And it's the idea that the players themselves, the teams definitely love this idea. They were a big part of why we actually decided to change it up to banning draft last minute. Of course, for those that are wondering, yes, this is the banning draft mode. Obviously, you only get 8 heroes of each agility, intelligence, and of course strength. And then you get a ban 4 in total, 2 for each team, and then you just pick from there on out. 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, pretty much. So I kind of break it down right there. For not everyone may not know banning draft necessarily, so of course we never really see it here on Honcast. But anyways, we wanted this to be more of a fun event is what it basically came down to. Maybe a little bit different in the end. So we decided to go ahead and make it banning draft. Like I said, the players were on board, the teams were on board. We, of course, were on board. We got to experience it last Tuesday, actually, as BMG defeated Denial Esports 2-0. But here we are, as you put it, this classic matchup here, so evenly matched. These two teams definitely the best in Han right now. Playing in a banning draft mode doesn't get any better. So we'll be a best of 3, and holy crap, look at what we already see. By the way, first off, the bans were, of course, Pearl, Jerizaiah, Gauntlet, and Pestilence. Normal stuff right there. And now we got the picks coming out. Well, what do you think so far, Insania?
Hanskin said he random the Swiftblade, which is interesting, because I was thinking, Master of Arms is pretty good here. Hag is on the board. And then he picked Swiftblade. So, yeah, they're definitely not, I think, they want to play different heroes, and that's what they're picking right now. Thunderbringer, Slither, Swiftblade. We got a really solid dual lane in Swiftblade Slither if that's what they choose to go for. Thunderbringer, it's a solid mid-hero. He's got a couple of buffs lately. So, definitely can do a lot of damage, but Stay Green, they're going for a more, conventional draft, I suppose.
Oh, that's the other thing, too. You have to actually pick yourselves with captain's pick. People are so used to their captain actually picking for them. And here we go. Z-Freak's like, wait a second, I actually had to pick myself. They get Flux. It's not a bad pick, but...
No, I think you notice Jonas in the chat now, so, Stay Green, they're picking to win. Whereas BMG are picking to have fun. You can just tell by the heroes that they're choosing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it'll be interesting to see how they draft the next game. This time they chose that kind of a fun lineup. You can tell from miles away there's pretty much no synergy between anything. Oh my
gosh, yeah. This is full-on TMM right here. Everyone just pick what they want to play.
Yeah, I honestly would be surprised if that's what they did. But no, Stay Green, very solid lineup. MOA Myrmidon, something very strong in the mid lane if you match it together. Unfortunately, there aren't any junglers, so it's probably going to be a 2-1-2 setup or 2-2-1. The only suicide hero picked up in this game really is Hag, so we'll see how they choose to set it up. Kyle playing Hag, Limp on Flux. I would assume it's a 2-2-1 setup from SG, with Hag as a suicide, Flux, and let's see, Myrmidon probably mid. I'm not really sure. They have a lot of options.
What are we going to see here,
Yeah, but the interesting lineup, I think, is definitely BMGs. That's where a lot of stuff can happen, and I would like to see a roaming Rampage with double solos, to be honest. Slither, Swiftblade, long lane with the roaming Rampage, Hellbringer short lane, and Thunderbringer mid.
I like that idea that it's they do got considered to a Slither Swiftblade. It's we would never see that, though, but it's true. Again, that is definitely a very powerful combination. Obviously, just in general, that slow to provide a spin from Swiftblade on top of them could definitely set up bloodlust kills and a lot of early on aggression. So most certainly that synergy is definitely there. Coming out from this. So I'm excited for that. I'm also excited to see, you mentioned Thunderbringer getting some buffs. Again, his his Blast of Lightning now provides that buff to teammates in terms of the increased movement speed. So I'm actually really intrigued to kind of see how that takes effect as well. And, makes it easier for maybe even counter-warding to getting stealth units. Obviously, in this case, not going to have to worry about that necessarily, but it's going to be fun to see how that turns out to be played here.
For sure. Thunderbringer is a hero we saw a lot back in the day, but then he just completely fell off. And I think a lot of people really just forgot about him. He does a lot of damage, and I remember before DreamHack, Denial Esports were scrimming a lot with the Thunderbringer and M4 dual lane and mid, which is an absolute pain to deal with. So definitely a hero that has a lot of potential. He can output a lot of damage if he's allowed to stay alive in the team fights. And Stay Green don't they don't really have a true blink initiator except for Flux to really catch him with. So I'm expecting Fuzi to be able to, with some pretty good positioning, be able to dish out a lot of damage in the fights if they get dragged out.
Yeah. Handskin playing the Hellbringer here, definitely a hero that I like to see as well, of course. Definitely Micromaster kind of hero, especially now with the 3 Malphus. They eventually spawn at level 16, of course, so excited for that. What the hell is this? I'm looking at Armadon, by the way. Holy crap. Never actually seen this.
Looks like a robot. What is
that
this?
that is a creepy Armadon, man. Just full-on robot status, I guess. But yeah, they are going to be running the tri-lane aggression here. The classic Armadon Master of Arms Myrmidon lane. Of course, the Z-Freak playing Myrmidon. I know he loves to play that hero, by the way, so.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun
No,
to see
I mean, this is interesting. I think Swindle pretty well aware that Legion, no suicide hero. That means most probably they're going to go long lane with some kind of lineup of heroes. And they don't really have any stuns on the Legion side. So a Hag should, in theory, be pretty fine up here. And I think he is going to be. And eventually the supports are probably going to have to move away. But meanwhile, they're going to shut down the Rampage down bottom with their tri-lanes. So definitely like deciding to dodge the tri-lanes. And this is the boring part of the tri-lane era. When the tri-lanes would dodge and you just... It's basically farm wars with 2 roaming supports that aren't going to kill anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm a bit surprised Swindle decided to go for the boring way. But of course, it was the right decision, I suppose. So
here to win, damn it! Here to win.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there is some money on the line, and with that said, I actually wanted to bring this up as well to make a point. As far as the prize pool goes here for this King of the Hill event, it is kind of an interesting format. But the idea behind it is actually, I know there's constantly been questions about the subscription money and whatnot. You know where that ultimately is going. I'm here to say, actually, for this event, this King of the Hill event, a big part of why we wanted to get this going in the first place, too, was to actually get that subscription money to use towards prize pools for events. And that's definitely where that subscription money is going for. I'm not saying you should subscribe to absolutely support it by any means, but just making a point. So that is actually going somewhere. It's going towards this prize pool here for the King of the Hill event. So, again, it's not the most with that said as far as initially. So there is technically, right now, like there's $50 on this match here for the winning team. Again, very, very minimal. It increases the more wins you get. So you can definitely add up to a decent amount of money in the end. But so there is some money, my point being, but in the end, it is more about pride and fun, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
So, kind of speaking from that perspective about Stay Green there and with their strategy. But
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's banning draft, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think if it was more money on the line, people would be like, no, we want to play Captain's Pick. So, no, I think this is a great event. It's really fun to have these. It's been a long while between our fun events. We had the 1v1 tournaments back in the day that kind of faded away as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, interesting. So they roam towards middle, as I expected. They leave the Swiftblade solo top to match up against that Hag. But really nice sidestep from Limp in that middle lane, keeping him alive. And looking over like comfort heroes here for Stay Green, you noted that Z-Freak really likes to play the Myrmidon, so that's definitely comfortable for him.
Mm-hmm.
Flux for Limp, Hag for Kyle. Just in general, I think a lot of these heroes, just Stay Green, are still in their comfort zone. They're not playing super weird stuff. Whereas Lions, they pretty much only got the Rampage that I think Jonas played last time that I've seen them play before. So
and they got Super KG played in this game. So yeah,
exactly.
Definitely. Again, it really seems like their strategy was more along the lines of let's just pick heroes that we just want to play. But anyways, again, in the end though, it's definitely still going to be a fun game, and obviously not the most action to start here just yet. But as you pointed out, the adjustments have been made. Armadon is actually continuing to spam those quills here in the laning phase, and currently actually hitting level 3, but his farm isn't necessarily the best, maybe surprising somewhat. He's only actually 11-5 creep farm, as the other adjustment has definitely caused some issues. I do see the pole coming out right here. So actually, Myrmidon not going to be slowed, but not really the most follow-up. Coming out on top of that, although Rampage saying hello to Master of Arms. So a lot of just back and forth harassment here. They're controlling the creeps, though, is the Hellborn team actually. And Myrmidon going to be charged once again. Super KGE has the charge up. He's going to continue to go for it. He puts the hit out. The Weed Field going to be dodged on top of that. The Horn Strike auto attack. One more maybe. He needs one more after this. No, the dodge damage is applied, though. And Myrmidon going to be denied in the end. So still no Bloodlust kill. But at least Z-Freak does fall.
That was so well played on Stay Green's end. The team support there as well is like Z-Freak waiting with his stick charges until the last seconds to pop them to maybe force the hero to turn around and maybe think that, I got this kill.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, really nicely played. He uses health potion there as well to get the deny for Jesse. Just a really nice turn of events there for them.
Yeah, so again, Bloodlust Kill is still on the board here as far as availability. I'm gonna take a closer look at this middle matchup though. Thunderbringer 17-2, Flux is 22-8 right now. So Flux is actually having the better time so far against this Thunderbringer. How do you expect Thunderbringer to build, by the way? I mean, again, not a hero we see too often.
Oh my god, I think there are a lot of options. I personally played him in TMM not too long ago, and I decided to go for phase boots into shit.
Oh, actually, bottom lane. Holy crap, Hellbringer's gonna fall right there. Master of Arms, he's gonna be denied again! Another deny coming out right here from Stay Green, so still only 0 kills for BMG. And Slither is also gonna be chased down, and now the Magic Carp gonna be dodged there from Rampage. Takes the damage, of course, but he will be fine. But good turnaround from Stay Green. And Chessie, man, he's about hero denies as well as creep denies, apparently.
Yeah, no, he's playing really, really well. And those denies are a big deal because BMG are not getting any experience for those hero kills. And it's not like creeps that you get like a third or something. They get nothing. And that is a really big deal. So yeah, you see they're not really keeping up in levels. Level 2 and 3 on their support. It's actually not that bad, but it is a big deal in a trialing because you're splitting XP amongst 3. Every level counts so much. So yeah, really good denies.
Yeah.
Big plays from Chessie.
So how about Thunderbringer though? You mentioned the spell shards even. Yeah, that would be fun to see actually.
Yeah, I mean, I personally went phase boots into spell shards, but I could see a big variety of builds working out. I would not like to see Staff of the Master though. It was an old school build and it was really good back in the day, but the way the numbers work nowadays, I think spell shards is just completely better in every single way. So, an Icon of the Goddess though, it's BMG after all, so Icon of the Goddess would probably Steam Boost investments wouldn't be too surprising. Yeah. Mana pool is definitely needed on the hero.
Oh yeah. So again, only 6 minutes in, so still very early. With that said, Thunderbringer does have that ultimate now with the Lightning Storm as its phrase. So definitely look for opportunities to use that, of course, trying to catch the other team off guard. Not allowing them to deny, but 4 players. No, those are illusions down here, so never mind. At the bottom lane.
A little bit of action going out at top as well. Jonas was chasing down Kyle, but Kyle was able to blink away, but so nothing came out of that. But
back to the bottom lane. Actually, Rampage going to be locked down this time. The Weefield does land. The Snot's on top of the goo with those quills being spammed. A lot of physical presence coming out here. Definitely shields. Rampage falls. They chase Slither as well. And a double tap coming out for Chessie. Hellbringer, he's going to have to hug the tower pretty much as Stay Green able to die pretty big time right there. But you can definitely see the synergy coming out. Obviously, the goo on top of those, even the Snot with the quills again being spammed. A lot of minus armor potential, so able to burn them down pretty quickly right there.
Yeah, I mean, SG are just trying harder than BMG, it feels like at this point. Their draft is just so much better. They're using it to their advantage. Limp rotating down to bottom right now. It looks like he wants to go for the pickoff on the Hellbringer if he's able to find him. But it seems like Hanskin's too smart for him. Gonna go for the safer route, running middle.
You're talking about the top lane. I mean, how is that going? We got Swiftblade only 35 and 13. It's actually not bad in there. Only 265 gold per minute though, so not necessarily taking off. But you know, at a long lane against a Wretched Hag is not too surprising. Wretched Hag in the meantime, 260 gold per minute herself. So Flux actually finds Hellbringer by the way, and Limp's gonna pick up the kill and teleport back to base to regen. So good find by Limp right there as doing the roam and eventually setting up the kill.
They're really good movement. Thunderbringer can't really move around the same way that Flux can. Even though Flux is also pretty static in his lane normally, just the little bit of movement I think it's really good. Thunderbringer has to stay on lane and wait for other people to set up stuff and just use his ulti usually. Because he needs those levels. He needs to sit there mid and just make sure that he gets his spells maxed out. I think around level 9 or maybe even 10, 11, that's when he really, really peaks. Yeah. And you want to force team fights with him. But until that point, he really needs to just sit there and get his levels up.
Going to stay at the top lane in the meantime. That power supply actually just finished right there. There's a Ghost Marchers picked up by Thunderbringer. So that's start at least over here. I mean, really, Ghost Marchers over Steam Boots for a Thunderbringer?
I think it comes down to positioning. You need to always have perfect positioning with a Thunderbringer. If you get caught, you're so squishy you're going to die pretty much regardless. At least that's my reasoning. With the phase boots, especially against the Flux, he's going to pull in heroes. The Steam Boots HP aren't really going to make up for the lacking positioning that you have, so the speed really helps you. Meanwhile, mid. Yeah,
Flux is going to be gone on. There's the chain set bind coming out right there. Poison spray on top of it, and Flux is going to end up falling. He couldn't even get anything off. I don't know if he's trying to ultimate or even just use his release right there, but in the end, he actually does get picked off. So good coordination coming out. Meanwhile, though, bottom lane, Hellbringer, unfortunately, is going to be picked off at the bottom side. But there's Thunderbringer coming to the play. Top lane, Wretched falls. You see Swiftblade was actually diving, and his Swift Slash is doing plenty of damage on top of that. So in the end, overall big picture, BMG, yeah, worth it indeed, says Hanskin. 2-for-1 exchange in their favor coming out. Again, that's the power of Thunderbringer especially in terms of his presence in the game always.
For sure. I mean, I think it's below 160 HP and you're a dead man.
Yeah.
Also, another important thing to note is that both teams before the game decided to trash talk in all chat.
Yeah.
So people don't get confused. They don't hate each other. It's just, yeah.
I mean, they pointed that out. They respect each other when it comes to play and everything. Again, they're just having fun with this. Like exactly. We keep going back to that. This is a fun event in the end. So, yeah, don't look into that too much, guys. And wait for the screenshots to happen and be like, oh my god, the drama.
Exactly.
So 10 minutes into this game, we got a 3,300 gold lead now for Stay Green, 1,400 experience lead. Obviously, Armadon a big part of that. He's now 370 gold per minute, and he just actually finished his helm with the Black Legion there. So he's off to that really strong start, of course. And so you mentioned, so really is this going to come down to Swiftblade and him just having a good start himself? It's actually middle lane. Rampage going to be pulled back in. He's trying to make something happen for a turn, perhaps. Trying to help him get away. Oh, he cannot dodge a bad blast. Good land there, and down goes Super KGE. So good coordination on their part. Thunderbringer also going to be caught. And yeah, he is a squishy hero. He has no getaway, and that kind of showed right there. But I was going to say, so what does BMG need to do here, would you say, at this point?
It's hard to say. There's no way they can straight up teamfight this Hellborn team. They need to run the dodge, need to avoid the fights, try and get counter towers in return, but it's going to be so difficult considering that they don't really have any minion heroes. And this is when the draft really kicks in. They have no way of really dealing with Stay Green now that they're ahead. And definitely not at the moment. They need to get Slither level 6, they need to get Hellbringer level 6. Those two heroes really just double in value once they have their ultis, so get those 6s, then maybe pose a defense at some tower, but it's going to be difficult for them to do so. And the more towers they give away, the harder it is going to be for them to defend. So it'll be interesting to see when they decide to take that fight. But one big decisive fight, similar to when you're playing as hard or with a hard carry, how you want to dodge and avoid for as long as possible.
Sonomelons and Z-Freak right there. The brothers definitely ganking Hellbringer at the bottom lane. Top, but in the meantime, Flox teams the Master Call comes out. He denied the tower on top of that. Beautiful play by Limp, the deny, not going to happen on him. He will fall, but at what cost right here? Nope, Swiftblade is going to be fine as he runs away. But yeah, Limp having the heads up right there to deny the tower, nearly surviving with that red buff, but obviously just not enough in the end. So good take, at least from BMG. Jonas a fan now. He is starting to go up quite a bit, 265 gold per minute. What is it going to be? You think that is going to be a Rune Cleaver, or is it even going to be a Null Stone?
I'm fairly positive he's going for the Cleaver. He feels like he needs to farm to win the game, and the only way that they can really win it is if he gets huge. So I think it's a similar risk to when you play Moon Queen and you decide to go for a Whispering Helm, even though you're doing poorly, to just get back into the game. It's our only option, really. It's not the best way to go, but if I don't get big, we're not going to win, so going for that Rune Cleaver.
There we go, Hellbringer middle lane. The ultimate use of Thunderbringer. Ultimate also coming out, but Wretched Hack just alive enough. Blinks away and will barely survive. In fact, may help for a turnaround here. Hellbringer knows he's in trouble. He's trying to micro the Malphus, maybe get a Flame Breath off. Hasn't used it yet. He will use it right there, but it's only a level 1. Minimal damage. Putting the dot up on Wretched Hag. Trying to still kill him, but not going to happen. And down goes Hellbringer. Pull back in from Flux with the discharge right there. Pulls him in as well with the Magnetic Surge, and down falls Thunderbringer. Ends up being another double tap for Chessie. So, yeah, Chessie's at a very scary mark right here, especially against this Legion team. I mean, Mystic Bestons, Helm of the Black Legion, he is already so tanky and just being the hero himself. So we do see Rampage is going to be flying around the trees right here. But he might need to be careful himself. Uh-oh.
He is in a lot of trouble here.
Yep, there we go. There's the jump. And I don't know if Rampage is going to get out of this one. Absolutely not. Doesn't stand a chance.
Just really good movement for Stay Green at the moment. It feels like Silky just hasn't been able to control the map at all with his wards. We see Stay Green, they placed this bottom lane ward before and dove Hanskin twice before he got his level 6, killed him. Then they decided to go block the pull with the other ward, which completely shut down the bottom lane, and they gave pretty much control of the jungle to Stay Green.
Yeah.
There was just, and they've been using it. They've been using the Legion jungle to come in behind a BMG and just go for these ganks that are really crucial into putting them so far ahead.
Bottom lane, you see Swiftblade. Nope, he's going to be fine, actually. Wretched was thinking about coming in, but not going to go for a kill opportunity there. Wretched does have a double damage rune saved up with that set, or bottled up even, so he finds the opportunity for that. But Again, Swiftblade just in the jungle now, trying to get any bits of farm. Super KG on Rampage is going to be charging somewhere. He's back in the well currently. He's actually going to be porting to the bottom side. They want to make something happen down here, and actually Myrmidon might be the perfect target for that, as he's kind of pushed up by himself. But if anything, they only see Armadon currently. Rampage, they're going to run right past Myrmidon all of a sudden. Yeah, he's going to turn onto him. Myrmidon wave dash away, but it's not going to be enough. He is going to fall in the end, so happen to run right past him.
Yeah, they came for the Armadon. Unfortunately, only got the Myrmidon. But overall, just stay green in a really solid position right now. I'd like to see them start stacking up their Ancients every spawn. Jesse missed it right there, but stack up the Ancients, use that MOA, use the Armadon, get them huge together. And stay green, they should fight every chance they get, I feel, as well. If BMG are willing to take a fight to them, just take it and crush, move on. Because right now, they're just in such a solid position. They got pretty much all the core items. And when you're running an Armadon, once you get that Helm of the Black Legion on the vestments, it feels like he's completely unkillable. Yeah. So, especially without the stun lock that Legion lacks.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I know you pointed that out, but yeah, to read it, it definitely is a big deal right now for the Legion than what they lack. The discharge used right there. Now, Rampage kind of in an awkward spot. He does have team support nearby them. In fact, he's going to go in, change that bind on a flush right there. Here comes the spin from Swiftblade. He does have Swift Slashes. Hellbringer ultimate raining for the skies as well. The creep wave is nearby. Swift Slashes might not be the best right here. He's going to use it though. Myrmidon dropping. He got the kill on a right dag, but he falls shortly after. And Myrmidon still handing his ground. Lifeboy trying to heal up Hellbringer enough. They will get the kill on a Master of Arms, but Hellbringer falls in the end. So both sides end up having two heroes survive. Yeah, Rampage just survived that as well. So 3 for 3 exchange actually. Not the worst there for BMG. Could have been a lot worse, but in the end, of course, stay green. If anything, they just keep their lead. As Armadon.
In all honesty, like Armadon survived. You got to look at the survivors here. Armadon survived and Swiftblade died. So, in my eyes, that's definitely a win for stay green. The only way BMG are going to win this game as it progresses is by getting Swiftblade big and preventing Armadon from doing so, as well as Hag. Hag and Armadon are pretty much the two core heroes of the Hellborn draft as the game goes into late game. So those two need to die. And seeing as Armadon survived, definitely a win for stay green.
So, Thunderbringer, he does have a Steam Staff purchase, so again, that could definitely easily be a Hellflower as well, possibly, but keeping the eye on that for the Spell Shards to be coming for him. Still a ways away, though. Fuzi not having the best GPM here. Only at 225 gold per minute. So, yeah, again, going back to the Swiftblade, I mean, he's got enough for one broadsword at this point. Still needs the other one before he's even going to have that Rune Cleaver in these fights. So, definitely an issue there for BMG and what they're bringing to the table. As far as their threats, what MLC is going to be charged here. He blinks away, though, way into his base. Super KG really going to man up here. Yeah, that would be
really
silly.
noted. Yeah. But stay green, once again, they don't want to run the dodge. They don't want to avoid these fights. They want to take the fight, and here we go.
There we go. Discharge pulling the back in. Armadon, he's going to start spamming those quills. Puts Snowstorm on what he can. He's being locked down, though, with the slow, though, somewhat. Definitely causing issues. Myrmidon even in the front lines in that ulti form. He's saying, come at me, bro, and looks like they are going to make that move now. Myrmidon starting to drop pretty quickly. Deep in the Master's Call going to be used on him. The spin, though, from Swift into the background, and down goes Myrmidon. Meanwhile, the Rampage gets pulled back in. He's going to go down, but Armadon actually in the background. He has his back turned, mitigating a lot of damage there. He will survive when it's all said and done. Big Swift Slash is coming out for Swiftblade, though, doing plenty of damage. Flux is going to end up falling as a result, and Thunderbringer still actually here in the front lines. Going to use that mana battery, of course. Armadon definitely want that mana battery, as we talked about last series. And oh, the ultimate, not enough to kill. Yes, it is. The dot damage is going to tick him down. So, again, BMG, they actually come out on top of this fight. I mean, again, Armadon does live, but it was better than last time.
Definitely. Here they came out 3 against 1, and that's definitely one fight for them. That was just so well executed. I want to talk about the positioning there from, I think it was Fuzi, Hanskin, and Sealkid up on the high ground, waiting for the Myrmidon to run in there, just sitting there patiently, and then catching her and picking her off. It's just so important in these team fights to be able to kill a hero. A lot of the time when you see BMG and Lions play, the heroes will get away with 10% HP or like 12 HP, and in public games, you're like, oh, you got so lucky. But this is really them playing well as a team. And when you position yourself like that, you have the positioning advantage. There's just no falling back. They can't fall back into their team and get away there. Yeah. And that's why they secure the kill. And I really think that's why they won the fight. Really good positioning there, setting up the fight smartly. Yeah, and again, the ultimate synergy, as we see there, you've talked about brought it several times. I mean, it is there for the Legion team, especially now with these level 2 ultimates starting to pop up. You got Thunderbringer hitting level 11. Hellbringer's just about there at level 10. Slither will need a little bit of ways, but even so, even without that, I mean, what he brings to the table in those fights is just a poison burst, and spreading that toxicity alone, definitely very powerful
So again, most certainly there. Rune Cleaver just finished by Jonas Fan. Now on the other side of the board, though, Stay Green again, looking back at Armadon. I mean, he's actually been sitting on that Mighty Blade. Do you think that is going to turn into a Shrunken Head here?
I know Chessie really likes to go for Shrunken Head on Zephyr, and that's kind of weird if you want to like put it like that. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Did Chessie?
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, all right, they're going for the team fight items. So I suppose nobody else can really go for it, but the 100 mana for that Armadon is going to feel like a lot. So
yeah, that's true.
Interesting to see. Yeah, no. But they do need the Astrolabe. It's definitely not a bad decision. Swindle's going for real items, or whatever you want to call them, like personal items that will boost him and make him more into carry.
Yeah.
And Master of Arms doesn't have the farm. He's going for that Energizer. Flux got the Sackstone. And you want to spread these items out as much as possible. Normally you see, like, Ophelia or Tempest buy a lot of them, and that's because nobody else on the team is qualified to do so. But the more you can spread them out, the more targets the other team gets to, like, they need to prioritize targeting. Who do you go for? Do you go for the guy with the Sackstone first, or do you go for the guy with the Mana Ring or the Energizer? So makes it harder for Lions to target a hero and just focus him down. And just, so you can't just use their Stunlocks and just go, this guy has everything, just kill him, and they're out of teamfight items. So
yeah.
The spread is good. The spread is definitely good for them.
Arcana is finished on actually both Hag and Thunderbringer. Speaking of that, it looks like Wrench Hag is actually going to be going the Hellflower route instead of the Light Brand into the Grimoire route. It seems like we've been seeing a little bit more of that. Again, I know this is maybe a different kind of game here, but it seems like the Hellflower is kind of making a bit of a comeback lately with those nerfs to Grimoire especially. So
yeah,
that's
no, I agree with you. I think the item is coming back, and it has a lot to do with the fact of how Hag has changed as a hero. I think the way she is played now is more as that ganker rather than that hard carry, and also the nerfs to Grimoire, of course, being a factor in that.
Yeah. Oh, we got some mid-wars action coming out right here. Stay Green. They are ready to go once again. Armadon again. He is extra bulky now with that Astrolabe, as we were pointing out. They're going to try to push this middle lane. No middle tower here, at least the initial tower. So they're going to work their way into the jungle. You can see BMG needs to pick and choose wisely. They might find an opportunity right here. Rampage kind of peeks out right there. They got pulled in with the discharge, though. Here comes the Malphus, though. Two of them going to be spawning right here. In the meantime, Myrmidon gets away with that waveform. Weedfield is going to miss. Swift slashes all on a Wretched Hag with the Horn Strike auto attack, and down he falls in the background. Minuts trying to chase him down with Master of Arms. Even the Master's Call going to be used. He got pulled back in. The Weedfield going to be dodged by Rampage at least, and they will finish him off. BMG winning the fight big time. Thunderbringer picks up the double tap with his Lightning Storm right there. And again, Armadon, the survivor. But BMG seems like they're really escalating every single one of these team fights. And he should be fine in the end. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to chase him down. But, oh my god, is he going for it? Super KG. Don't do it. Okay. Well,
no, but the teamfight execution right now from BMG is absolutely perfect. Like you talked about there with the Rampage and the Swiftblade timing that ulti so that Hag can't blink with a Horn Strike as well. It's just beautiful to see. They're playing this so well as a team.
Yeah.
And they just know each other. I'm pretty sure, even though like a lot of team fights in the Skype call, it's very hectic. But I think Lions, they don't need that communication. Their communication is so good that they just know each other. They know how to play. They don't need to talk as much as other teams do. It's really nice to see.
All right, so Swiftblade actually cleaning up the Ancients right here. He actually went the Abyssal Skull follow-up, and is that another item being delivered to him, I take it? A Glowstone, interesting. So Swiftblade.
Staff of the
Master Swiftblade. I mean, what exactly, it gives him more bounces, right? So increases from 8 to 10 and reduces the cooldown in 90 seconds from 110. So, I mean, some nice buffs there, but is that worth it? I mean...
In a real game, I'd say no. In this kind of a game, oh yeah, definitely. Why not? Get to pop your ulti more and you get more mana, more HP.
I will say, for the idea of teamfights, it's actually Rampage gets caught out right here. He's trying to buy enough time, though, for his teammates to come in. Swiftblade spin on top of the Weedfield. Not going to be hit, of course, but he is going to get pulled back in. He's in a little bit of trouble. Doing some good damage right there, but has to run this whole time. Swift Slash is coming up in 5 seconds. Rampage already dead. Everyone's still alive with Stay Green, and they will get another one right there. The Thunderbringer, after Myrmidon gets picked off. Swiftblade again, he's just 100% retreat mode here. Not going to help slow there. Nothing he can do for Seal Kid. As Chessie is officially a champion of New Earth now. 9-0-7 on this Armadon. So again, still hasn't died. There was a buyback, though, by the way, from Rampage, and he is pissed off. No, they're not going to go for it. I mean, Swiftblade is still below. Oh, my God, they are going to go for it. The Malphus come down, and Swiftblade is charging. And with the Bat Blast, though, hits him. He's in a lot of trouble. He's somehow barely alive, and he will fall. when it's all said and done. So the man mode there from BMG. They got the kill on the Hag, but it's going to come at a major cost right here.
Or is it?
Yeah,
Hanskin
oh
going to TP out. It looks
Maybe
like Rampage
not.
is going to be able to run away as well, so... Oh my god. Are they both going to escape?
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine, yeah. No, good place from BMG. They had no place being there. They had a ward up, so they knew how many heroes were there. So I really don't know exactly what they were thinking going in 3 versus 5 there. But Stay Green punishes them, and the game evens out a little bit.
Yeah. Rampage, though, the BMG doesn't want to stop the momentum here. They just want to keep Stay Green on their toes clearly. Again, they don't have the Malphus up, but they do got other ones. Rampage, though, Super KG a little too manly right there. He gets picked up. Poison Nova, then pulling with the discharge, but Thunderbringer with this ultimate use. A lot of damage coming out from that. He is on the run. He does have the spell shots, by the way. The Chain Lightning and the hat trick coming out from Fuzi. Swiftblade, apparently not even needed in those fights. Like I said, just because a couple of their ultimates were down, they still had other ones. And they actually made it work right there, so that was a good catch by BMG in the meantime.
I mean, the one thing you can't deny about the BMG lineup is that they have a lot of damage coming out of spells. Just Slither and Thunderbringer alone together in a dragged-out teamfight are doing so much damage. And there actually was a buff to Halbringer's Q, I noticed now. I didn't notice it in the patch notes,
true.
but it's AoE, it looks like.
Wait, what?
So, yeah, the Holy Shackles.
What?
Targets multiple heroes. It has a radius, so...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
When did that change?
I have no idea.
I don't remember
But it
that.
did, apparently.
Okay. Well, that's a
Yeah.
thing. Can I get Spell Center? No. I mean, is it... If they made it tournament rules, I would think it would be banned, but... Hey, no, I didn't. Don't put that on me. Wait. No, I didn't. He lies.
I think I don't know. Spell Slender though, that is an interesting item. I've not seen it do good at all, but I've heard it's supposed to be absolutely ridiculous with Slither because what happens is the Spell Slender damage is lethal, and with the Slither ulti, it basically makes the Slither ult lethal because it's doing damage together with the Slither ult.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And it reapplies every time. It's something like that. They reapplies damage every time they take damage. Okay.
All
That's
right.
a no.
I mean, well, you put me on the spot here, like.
Fun police. Yeah, exactly. I agree with my notes.
I don't care. I really don't. I don't know why I'm trying to be so serious about it. Yeah, screw it. I would love to see spell, but if that's the case too, what are like Ion Stone? I mean, we should be thinking about that too now. I mean, that's another
That item
item.
is such a joke.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
So strong. It's probably not going to get nerfed either. So, yeah, no. It'll be interesting. I don't think they're going to pick it up now. It's kind of like it shines in the early game as a roaming kind of / support position. But if you want to move around a lot, you can do so much with that. But like a triple invis smoke gank is possible with the Ion Stone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, maybe they might still go for it.
All right, so Spell Sunder picked up by Thunderbringer. That's going to be fun
Yep.
to see, especially when he gets level 16, obviously. Again, and you pointed out against Slither, too, definitely a good candidate for that. So, again, his GPM is pretty damn low. Now, Spell Sunder is an inexpensive item, though, right? I mean, I'm trying to
Yeah,
check
it's
right
2,000
here.
gold.
Where is it under? Combat, I would think. Yeah, 2,365. So, yeah, pretty inexpensive there.
Yeah.
As far as the cost, so we'll see. Again, though, Staff of the Master still being worked on by Swiftblade. So actually, I want to go back to. I think I was going to bring that up before a fight kind of took place. So the idea with Staff of the Master, they are all about these team fights, coming together, using their ultimates and synergy and whatnot. So I mean, does like kind of make sense for that logic, or would you still rather see more of the conventional carry build?
The problem with Swiftblade as a hero is that his ultimate is great, regardless of pretty much what items you have. It's going to do a lot of damage. The spin does a lot of damage on its own, and then you have a crit, and then the W that's basically doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And when you put more emphasis than he already has on the ulti, he really just becomes nothing after it. So what's going to happen in these team fights is Swiftblade's going to do a lot of damage with his ulti. He's going to do a lot of damage with the spin, but they're both pretty long cooldown. Spin is like 20-25 seconds cooldown, so he's really not going to be able to do much in between that, and that kind of makes him a weak carry. So maybe in this kind of a lineup where when you're going for the burst, you could say that it's almost viable, but no, I don't think it's the way to go at all.
He ended up picking up an Assassin Shroud, actually, so I don't, either
Like
second guessing or just one of the glowstone for now for the stat boost, and going the Assassin Shroud. So you like that choice?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. I think that's definitely okay. Assassin's Shroud is an item that I feel really enables Swiftblade. It allows for him to go in and out a little bit. He can do some damage, run away. He can get away with it. He can get in with it as well. So a lot of usage.
Speaking of getting in, Rampage gets pulled in right there, and that's a quick kill, so good use of the discharge coming up from Stay Green. Obviously the token of life on Chessie right here. He's in the front grounds there, the Malphus out. It's only 2 for now once again, but the team fight ready to go for BMG. Look at Fluxo and Armadon taking so much damage. A spin from Swiftblade. He has to jet on out of there immediately, so Swift slashes on Cooldown, of course, not able to get any kills right there. We'll pick up Armadon, get him to use that token, and actually gets the kill to Master of Arms. A lot of damage from Thunderbringer, especially with that Spell Shard, Spell Center combination. But in the end, Stay Green definitely coming on top of this fight. Although Swiftblade still wants to make something happen. Wretched Egg off to the side. He gets Hellflower now. And he is in a little bit of trouble. Assassin Shroud up in 2 seconds. Going to turn around with the spin on top of Flux. Oh, but it gets picked off just before. And Thunderbringer not able to finish off Flux. And now Thunderbringer in a little bit of trouble himself. He does have the power supply used, so again, he's got some good damage actually. Armadon needs to be careful right here. But no, he's going to get the kill first. Just before, double tap for him. And the Perseverance for Stay Green pays off a genocide in their favor.
Yep, really well executed there. Cinnamon is sitting at 1 HP sitting in the trees. A little bit of poor targeting there after the ultimate from Fuzi. The Thunderbringer ultimate does reveal every single hero, so I'm not really sure why he didn't go for the Hag sitting with like 3 HP in the trees. Instead he chose to nuke the Master of Arms. Probably just wasn't paying attention, didn't see the Hag sitting in the trees, which is a bit unfortunate. Could have been a completely different fight if Hag would have died there and wasn't able to get that Hellflower plus ultimate off on the Swift.
So, I mean, yeah, Thunderbringer, you definitely see that damage potential, man. I mean, especially when he is level 6 or 17 even now, and between the Spell Shards and that Spell Sunder, just how much magic damage obviously he can put out. So, Barrier Rattle or not, still doing plenty against Armadon and even this team. So, but yeah, the coordination definitely on top for Stay Green, and 33 more hundred gold saved up by Chessie, by the way. I'm actually very curious to see what he goes for next. I mean, Behemoth's Heart or something else?
I want to see a Mach. I want to see a Mach.
Mach. This later Mach, huh?
I mean, it's a fun item, and it provides damage for him. He's really tanky as is, so, no, but, I mean, if he's going real items, I would like to see the Mnemonic, but it looks like Limp is going for that instead. Okay. So probably the Heart route, but I want to see a Mach. I feel like Mach is the way to go. He's okay, he's going Lightbrand.
All right.
That works too. That works too.
You live with that, yeah.
Yeah, the Dawnbringer is going to provide movement speed for him. He's going to be able to stay on one target and really just put in the hurt. At this point in the game, like his minus armor that he provides from his Snotstorm is a big deal, and it makes him kind of a hard carry together with the R that gives him attack speed and movement speed.
Hellbringer actually got jumped here at the bottom lane. It's going to be fine, though. I think he's working on a Resto Stone, by the way. He's got the Arcana. Obviously, Resto Stone Hellbringer, especially at level 16. A lot of fun to watch. The Malphus raining from the Malphi, even. I think that's exactly. A plural. Raining from the skies. He gets 6 in total, of course. So, going to be pretty fun to watch when and if that does happen. But we'll keep an eye on that. Shrunken Head, by the way, on Rampage. Another good item to see there.
Yeah, if you would have had that in the last fight, it would have been completely different. There's really no guaranteed lockdown on Stay Green's end if you look at their lineup. They have no like easy land stun to follow up the Flux ulti with. So whenever Flux uses his ulti, Rampage is going to have an easy time just popping that BKB, using his ulti and pulling somebody out.
Yeah.
And so they need to be a little bit careful, I think, with the Flux ult. Maybe save it for later on in the team fights. Problem with that is they have no real other way of initiating. So kind of going to work a little bit in favor of BMG now that Rampage has a Shrunken Head.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Swiftblade. Nope, trap. He's going to try to go for the spin right there. He gets pulled in. Is the TP successful? It is. Yeah, they had no way to stop it right there at that point. So obviously a good tool for Swiftblade to be able to do that combo, especially with the Assassin Shroud on top of it. Makes it very difficult to be able to effectively jump him in those cases. So he ports back, and, you know, a little bit of split pushing coming out here, I've noticed, from BMG. Really trying to keep Stay Green moving from lane to lane at this point.
That's what they need to do as well. They got the harder carry, if it gets to that point. If they're able to get the Swiftblade farmed enough, he's going to do a lot of damage in the team fights.
Yeah.
But they got to avoid those pickoffs. Those pickoffs are really, really good for Stay Green. But as looks like now, Stay Green are farming more effectively than BMG, so the split pushing really isn't working out in their favor.
Swiftblade, though, look at the manliness on Jonas Fan. Nothing different there, but really up here trying to find a free kill. He's got, of course, those Swift Slashes ready to go if need be, but not going to be finding that. Stay Green not in the vicinity at this point. Instead, Armadon's pushing out bottom. You see they're protecting the middle here currently. and going from there. As far as gold being pulled up, he got about 2,000 saved up on Thunderbringer, so we'll see where he goes against Spell Shards. No longer requires the upgrade, so don't need to worry about that. Spell Cinder's been picked up, so Staff of the Master, you pointed that out earlier. Probably could see one on him as a possibility here. Buffing up that ultimate.
I'd rather see Grimoire than a Staff on him, to be honest.
Grimoire, okay.
The numbers on Staff of the Master, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I just remember they're just not worth it at all. As much as you think, like, oh, it's the Staff of the Master Thunderbringer, it really doesn't provide that much damage as you would think.
Yeah.
So I would much rather see a Grimoire. It helps him farm faster too, so why not? But yeah, no, I think Master Armstill's picked up a BKB. I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to start going for maybe those carry items soon. And yeah, initiation onto Super KG, but
nope.
Nothing coming out of that.
Gets Hellflowered, and he's like, damn it, I want to kill now. He's going to try to go in, find something. Get those chains
Really
up,
good ward from Z-Freak. Really good ward from Z-Freak here on the high ground.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to spot the BMG. And as I said before, the positioning that BMG usually sets himself up in before the team fights is so key, and that's what's been doing so good for them. But now they're perfectly aware.
Yeah.
Stay Green knows how they're positioning, and look at how they're standing. They're completely on the other side now, allowing Armor to be able to run straight back into his own team if he needs the support. And this is really good for them.
Yeah. I mean, again, you see that one Blast Lightning. It's obviously Armadon damn tanky, but still it takes up a good chunk of his life right there. And exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a pretty powerful hero right there with the items that he has picked up. So they're realizing that more and more going on the up ground right here. So they do have the vision, as you were talking about. Rampage going to be found right here as a result. Is BMG going to look to fight this? Yes, they are. Sure, to activated the chains that bind on Armadon. Out come the 3 Malphite. Rampage is going to end up falling. Armadon, though, needs to be careful. He is losing a lot of life, trying to just run around in circles with this back turn. Spam the kills. Let's Swift Slashes, though, on top of Armadon. And they get the pick off. In the meantime, in the background, Flux holding his ground. Trying to be tanky with that Soul's Bulwark. Is going to get the kill on Thunderbringer, but it does come at a cost. So play jumps into the fray of it. And now he's going against Wretched. No, not enough to finish him off. The Goo amongst everything else doing a lot of damage, getting locked down, and down goes Swiftblade. Buyback from Armadon, and Stay Green will clean up that fight right there. Armadon was the only one to buy back. So the ultimates, I mean, they were actually decent there for the Legion team, but obviously not enough from Bad Monkey Gaming.
No, really smart play from Limp there. He didn't use his ultimate early on at all in that fight. He saved it, waited for a golden opportunity, and then was able to use it. And this all comes down to that ward placed by Z-Freak. The ward allowed for them to get an initiation off without using their Flux ulti.
Yeah.
Which, in return, led to the Flux ulti having a huge impact on the team fight, lining up a perfect ultimate for Swindle on that Hag, which pretty much cleaned up the team fight. Otherwise, it looked like BMG were doing really, really well, killing that Armadon early on and then moving on to the next targets. But nope. Really good deny from Limp there. Nice use of that ultimate, followed up by the Swindle Malzalt, securing that team fight for him.
Yeah, wow. And obviously the buyback from Chip worthwhile, so his hero kill stats pretty damn impressive. 13, 2, and 12 in this game so far, so he's managed to have a pretty good time, to say the least. And again, he's been sitting on that Frozen Light, so still just waiting to get enough gold for the full Dawnbringer. Speaking of that, Firebrand actually just picked up by Master of Farms. I'm telling you, man, I'm still waiting to see that No Fire Blade, and not going to see it here. Oh, but actually they're going to pull in Myrmidon in the meantime. He activates the Barrier Auto, trying to help keep him alive. Waveform away. Is it going to be? No, probably not. Maybe, actually. He goes ulti for him. He gets so tanky. The deny attempt going to be unsuccessful as the Demons of Massive Call comes out, and he will fall shortly after. And now Armadon on the run. Rampage needs to be careful not to go too far, though. Blast shot away. And no
that's
more
unfortunate.
to pursue.
Had that been a stun instead of the blast shot, it would have been a really nice fight set up by Stay Green. The Goo was placed so perfectly there, and it would have taken the entire team down to like negative armors on on BMG's end. So that was a really good teamfight positioning for them, but didn't happen. So good job by BMG backing off, getting that pick off. Now waiting for the Thunderbringer ult.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I honestly felt like this game was. Maybe it is still somewhat close to the stats say, but I just glanced up at the stats real quickly, and it's like, holy crap, actually, Stay Green has a pretty good lead. 50.5 thousand gold and nearly 16,000 experience lead. It doesn't feel like that, though. I don't know if you're on the same boat or not, but it feels like that it's actually a little bit closer, but still, Stay Green definitely has advantage.
I think that the reason that you feel that way is because they're not able to punish each other off after the team fights. A lot of the time when you see team fights happen in normal games, they will go very, very one-sided. That's because people will survive with 10% HP and then they will heal back up and go back into the fight. You don't have that kind of a situation here, as the hero picks just don't allow for it.
Yeah.
If you get caught, you're gonna die. And when the heroes have 10% HP and then maybe 2 or 3 of them survive after the fight, they're not going to be able to go for pushes. We still see tier 2 towers up 40 minutes into the game. You would never have this happen in a game where they would have the draft with Keeper of the Forest or some kind of pushing heroes. It's just very hard for them to punish pickoffs. That's the reason.
Just charge right there, but not actually going to pursue it further off. So
yeah,
and that's. Are they going to still
Congor now?
though? Yeah, they're going to go for it. I mean, having Rampage definitely helps with that. Obviously, the Horn Strike getting that attack off.
Looks like they're going to get
Congor. Are they? I mean, Stigrin's coming in here. They're going to
yeah,
force a fight if
down.
anything.
He doesn't have a buyback. Just finished that Dawnbringer. Swindlemills and Flux both have buybacks, so they're probably going to be the tier 2 heroes that are playing really, really aggressive in this fight.
Yeah, not going to poke
Not
just
quite
yet.
though.
As far as finding the opportunity, you see just kind of some counter warding going on in the meantime. And I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but if Thunderbringer's been actually using that W for speed burst, I honestly don't know if he has been.
I saw it on the Rampage once, but that's it.
That
I'm not
actually
even
kind
sure
of just hit me.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of times you probably just want to use it obviously offensively, but even just for moving around the map, I mean, just to use it while you're moving around seems like it might not be a waste by any means. It's only a 7-second cooldown. That's okay, actually. No, that's something else. But anyways, Armadon is going to start tanking Congor now. Very, very low again. They're going to force a fight right here. He gets pulled in right there with the team's up behind. In comes the discharge on the Malphus. Going to fall from the sky. The 3 Malphus. Armadon, will he drop? No, yes, he will in the back. The Swift Slash is able to help clean him up. In the end, Flux off to the side. He gets a kill on Thunderbringer. And Wretched also here. As you mentioned, no buyback on Armadon, though. Swiftblade being kited now. Massively so with the Haunt debuff. He's going to be locked down. And Swiftblade will be taken out. He can buy back if he finds it necessary, which he does. Rampage still alive for the Legion team. Thunderbringer, by the way, also buying back. He's looking to get back in the fray of things. Rampage trying to get himself killed. Not going to happen. But look at the damage on the Wretched. Just not enough. Swiftblade charging it with the Assassin Shroud. But it looks like Stakrin is going to be able to make the retreat right here in the end. And they definitely come on top. Again, Congor is still alive, though. And I think BMG might actually be able to steal it here, despite the way that fight ended. So at least a little bit of a positive.
Definitely. Typical swindle. No, but yeah, that was a pretty good fight for Stakrin. Even though they lose the Conqueror token, of course, it's just you're noticing the lineup differences here. Stakrin are able to kite around much more. They're able to play with their heroes, whereas BMG are basically, okay, now we're in, use everything. They got the Armadon, even without Armadon really doing any damage that team fight. Stakrin were just able to out movement the Legion team, and just they were able to. Hag was just able to do so much damage, and she's getting to that point where she's getting really, really dangerous. Once she finishes that Chief Stake, she's going to be #1 prior target, in my opinion, for the Rampage to charge instead of Armadon, as is right now.
A little bit easier to kill as well as far as actually dying more quickly. Definitely has the escape mechanism, of course, with the Blink, but get the lockdown, at least a little bit that they have. Most certainly get that kill, so we'll see if they're able to pull it off. Token of Life, obviously, on Swiftblade, though, so big help there for them. Restoration Stone, it's getting close for Hanskin. He just needs the pattern now of 1875, and then we'll see the double ultimate coming out. And again, it's as fun as it is to watch, you know, with the 6 Malphus being on the ground all of a sudden. I mean, it's a powerful, large AoE stun as well, and that you have 2 of now as a result of the Restoration Cell. So that's the biggest thing, more so than having a 6 Malphite, I think. So.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the ulti itself, I think when you call it down, does 100 damage. And then you got the Malphus breathing for 600 damage on top of that when you use their Qs. So he has a lot of hidden damage that you don't really notice when you're playing against the Hellbringer. Where does this damage come from? And then you're like, oh shit, the Malphus is burning 100 damage a second on me, and he's breathing for 100 damage, magic damage just right on top of me as well. So even though, the stun is great, the Malphus, I think, at this point in the game, they're really going to be important. Having them on the right target can just shut them down entirely. Yeah. As long as they're not on Armadon, I'm happy.
Well, Armadon leading the way now once again in the front lines. It seems like they may be looking to go somewhere. Genjiro finished, by the way, by Swiftblade. So, of course, upgrading that Assassin Shroud in the meantime. And we'll see what that turns into. Just saw Sustainer, by the way, picked up by Thunderbringer as well. So, I think his own Restoration Stone, Yeah.
I think that's fine. It's gonna be good. Just have to be careful so they don't pop it on top of the BKBs that SG already has. They got 3 of them, Master of Arms, Hag, and Flux. And these are 3 heroes that they need to kill. I think their target prioritization in this fight needs to be Hag first, then go for the 2 supports. Because if you're able to get the stuns off of Stay Green's lineup and just kite the Armadon with your slows on Slither maybe, that would be great for them. They have to kill that Hag though. If Hag is able to do damage in the fight, it's going to be really difficult for them to ever catch her. The Rampage just needs to be on top of his play.
Again, Stay Green moving as a team right here. We're heading towards the top this time. Regidak blinking in aggressively. Seeing if she can maybe get a Slither or something else, but not going to happen. Obviously, with that Sheep Stick, could definitely set up an easy kill, but again, not going to be the case. So BMG themselves fall back to continue to farm elsewhere. You got Rampage working more towards a Demonic Breastplate here. Getting that finished up. Again, Thunderbringer's own Restoration Stone. It is finished on Hellbringer with that said, so they do have that double ultimate there. Looking more so at the Hellborn side. Nothing else too flashy necessarily coming up for them, although that full Demonic has been finished on Flux for a little bit. And then, of course, you got 2,400 gold now saved up on Master of Arms, so maybe just going to right-click that Geometer's Bane, or obviously wants to have that buyback on top of it.
I think the Geometer's Bane is definitely the right way to go with this game. They got the Swiftblade ulti to avoid. He has the Slither Spray to get off of him, and the Hellbringer dots. So there's absolutely no reason not to go for that Geometer's Bane. Definitely like that choice. I'm a little bit surprised Rampage not going for that Blink Dagger. I think a little bit of their problem right now is that they kind of rely on Flux to pull Rampage in to get an initiation. And if they're ever going to catch that Hag, they need to have a Blink Dagger on Rampage. He needs to be able to jump right on top of the Hag, chains that bind him, and pull him back with that BKB active. So a little bit disappointing. Would like to see the Blink. Hopefully he goes for it now.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that earlier. You know, it does seem like that initiating tool would make sense here for BMG. It is kind of interesting how you put it, how it's like, well, we need to wait you to actually do your ability for us to jump in. So it's on you, Flux. But yeah, so having that portal key would be most certainly an effective pickup. We'll see if Super KG just about has enough gold for it. So gonna get that answer here in the near future. And again, the token of life is now down about just over 2 minutes here. So you'd figure if a push is gonna be coming, as there's the portal key, by the way, on Rampage. So sure enough, he does end up picking it up. When are they gonna make their move, though, is the question, as they may be going for something.
He's charging.
Here.
He's charging middle, I think. Yeah. Looks like he's charging my nuts, but yeah, is he gonna go for it? He can always blink, I think, with the charge active now, and he's magic immune for a little while. Yeah.
Okay.
For like 2 seconds after he is charged, he's actually still magic immune, and they can't stun him. So, but no, split pushing going out from Stay Green. They know the token is running out, and it looks like they don't really want to fight into it. I'm a little bit surprised. I don't think they are. They need to be too afraid of that token, because as long as they lock down the team and just ignore the Swiftblade, he's really not going to be that impactful.
Yeah. Oh, Master of Arms is going to be cut out here. Armadon pointing in, so is everybody else. He got the Stricken Head off with the Geometer's Bane. He is going to be more than fine, so the initiation obviously does at least get the cooldowns to be used. And no ultimates were used by either side, other than, I guess, the Master's Call, but very, very short, of course. So you see right there, actually, using that Blast of Lightning, I think, for vision and a little bit of burst of speed, but they were waiting to see if they can get somebody from Stay Green to be in a bad position here, but it's not going to happen. So they just go to the bottom tower, and it's the last outer tower that they are going to be destroying here.
Then I think they put the token to good use. They got a lot of farm on their team that they probably wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, because Stay Green would have just pushed as soon as he got that cheap stick finished on Hag. And I really hope they don't overextend it and go for a base push here, because I think it will only end badly. For them, the ideal fights are the ones they took in the early game when Stay Green doesn't know where their heroes are, where they have a positioning advantage. When they're staying on high ground, like if they would sit in the trees here and wait for Stay Green to push out and then go for it, I would be much happier than them just trying to break base. But no, they want to put the token.
He's going to 600 crits, by the way. I mean, definitely some bigger numbers to see right there. Oh, he's taking a good amount of damage off the bat, but yeah, at this point, they need to make a decision, and it looks like they are just going to go retreat mode in the end. So, as you're pointing out, not wanting to force it. So we're going to have to wait about 3 more minutes here. So what does that mean? Probably around 51:30. We'll see Congor respawn, and that will be the 3rd Congor kill. So, as always, very important, and I'm sure we'll see both teams meet up in that area once that mark hits, of course.
Congor could very likely be where the game ends this game. Looking at how the teams are playing it, Stay Green, they don't really have any easy way to go high ground, so they're not going to force it. They know that they're in a really good position. Just going to wait for that Congor, get the token, and then probably put it on Hag. Let Hag beat down the tower to get it with the Armadon.
Yeah.
And, so the Congor most likely going to be where the game is decided. I don't think BMG are going to give it away for free.
see trying to bait something out maybe in the middle lane, but obviously, again, not going to be happening. So, yeah, Congor, no doubt, going to be the focal point here, and that's where you also look at the gold being saved up and whether or not that's actually going to be spent, what the buyback situation is. 5,000 gold on Swiftplay right now. So, again, he's still sitting on that glowstone, so like I said, it might just simply have been at a point where he might have just changed his mind, went a different route. You think Savage Mace here?
Or Wingbow. Savage Mace or Wingbow. Both are very viable. I don't actually know if... Does Wingbow stack with his counterattack?
I would not be able to say. Obviously, that's a very new change, too, so...
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually.
No, but it looks like Wingbow. He has money for the Savage Mace, so it's going to be the Wingbow. It's going to make him... Oh, Demonic, even. Okay, wow.
All right.
They have a Souls.
Do they?
Not sure about the pickup.
Yeah, no, he changed it. Okay. He going Savage.
Yeah, so he's going for the damage instead of survivability. He understands that even though the miss is going to happen, it's not going to be the game changer.
Yeah.
They don't have... He's just going to be slowed and crowd controlled so much that he's not able to do anything. So he goes for the straight damage, going to go all in for this next team fight. Maybe even a Doombringer wouldn't have been wrong here. Because a fight that happens here, if they lose it, they're going to lose the game.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, no, that would have been fun to see, but... Man down from Jonas Vanda.
Interesting here. They're trying to come in from a better angle again. They've done this before, and Flux actually going to notice it.
That's big. Hellbringer's going to get caught out right here. He does have a buyback. No, he doesn't have a buyback. Not enough gold, so no ultimates from him. He had to. Swift Slashes in the background going to be used. No kills coming from that, though. They will lock down Swift else, however. He's going to be person down at the cost of 2 teammates, though, in the meantime. Swiftblade just running around, trying to put out his auto attack. Sunbringer's going to end up getting picked off, or Rampage, excuse me. Down goes Swiftblade, and I think that might be it. Stay green. They got the jump that they were looking for, and without the Malphuses, especially 2 of them, let alone 1, raining for the skies. I don't think BMG had much of a chance there, so stay green. No GG's just yet, but they are going to push into the base, and no buybacks, I guess. Yeah, no, Thunderbringer's the only one, and he's alive, so this is going to be at least a pair of racks, if not more.
Yeah. No, they have a tier 2 tower up in the middle lane, so it's going to be hard for Stay Green to go for more than one set of racks here. But yeah, that pickoff was just brilliant for them. They realized that what Lions are trying to do. They had a perfect ward placed by Z-Freak again, and it's just so important to know that this ward is really what gave them that pickoff on the Hellbringer. Otherwise, they have no way of knowing that he was there. So really good warding from Z-Freak, winning them that fight.
Yeah, that is no doubt. Let's set the tone for that fight right there and made it somewhat an easier fight for Stay Green, getting that free pick. So they're pushing middle now. You do see the bottom lane. They catch Thunderbringer, actually, more so Hag does. And Vote to Concede comes out before the actual kill happens. But GG well played is being called. Stay Green are victorious in game number 1 here at the end. Pretty crazy game at 50-plus minutes here. Not too bad at all. And it definitely came down to a pretty exciting fight there at the end. But again, Stay Green, they got the jump, as you're pointing out. Great warding from Z-Freak, as he usually does. And it gets them the vision necessary to get the pick on the hero. So I'm not going to lie, a little disappointed we didn't get to see the double ultimate from Hellbringer as a result. But well played by Stay Green, deserving of the win, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the 2 key fights that they won that game, I think, were both because of a ward from Z-Freak. So definitely MVP of that game, I'd have to say, is Z-Freak. The warding that gave them the fights that won them the game.
Yeah. All right, so as always, guys,